Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Hester Biosciences Ltd. Q1 FY2024 earnings conference call hosted by ICICI Securities. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Rohan John from ICICI Securities. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Seema. So, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Hester Biosciences Ltd. Q1 FY24 earnings conference call. So, today we have the senior management with us, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, CEO and Managing Director, Ms. Priya Gandhi, Executive Director, and Mr. Nikhil Jawar, CFO on this call. I thank the management for giving ICICI Securities the opportunity to host this call. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Rajiv Gandhi, and as always, it is a pleasure to interact with all of you and to present and to discuss the results and even way forward. I shall now hand over the analysis which would be given by Priya Gandhi, Executive Director, as well as my daughter. Over to you, Priya.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Priya Gandhi, Executive Director at Hester. Thank you for joining the call today. I will be talking about the performance of Q1 FY24. With the numbers and information in front of you which got released today, I shall focus on the subjective part of the performance. Our revenues for the quarter went up by 59% on a standalone basis and 73% on a consolidated basis. The EBITDA grew by 24% on a standalone basis and 93% on a consolidated basis. Coming to the divisional performances, in Q1 FY24, the Animal Healthcare Division has grown by 93%. The Animal Healthcare Division is beginning to contribute as much as the Poultry Healthcare Division now. From a relevance of around 30% last year, the Animal Healthcare Division is at 42%, is a 42% contributor to the top line now. This is in line with our philosophy to have equal contributions from all the divisions. This division's growth can be attributed to 3 reasons. One, based on the LSD outbreak, the Government of India had issued a notification to all states to immunize cattle against LSD by administering the goatpox vaccine. As already known to you all from earlier mentions, goatpox vaccine is used to immunize cattle against LSD. Hester's goatpox vaccine was supplied last year and is currently being supplied to the states towards this immunization program. Second, Government of India has also commenced its PPR disease national immunization program in sheep and goat. Hester is the supplier for the PPR vaccine under the tender. We have already supplied 18 million doses till 30th June 2023. Third, the increased push by our marketing team to penetrate the market with our health products. We now cover most of the country with a motivated sales team of 282 people. The above 3 factors have had a major contribution in the Animal Healthcare Division sales growth. Moving on to the Poultry Healthcare Division, the division has been impacted with a degrowth of 13% in Q1. Sales have been impacted due to lesser placement of chicks due to continued stress in the poultry industry in terms of the reduced prices of egg meat compared to the increasing production cost. While sales have been impacted, incidentally breaking up the sales of this division into vaccines and health products, while vaccine sales have been impacted, there is a growth of the sales in health products by 23%. We also introduced 3 new products, 2 in the categories of therapeutics and 1 supplement in the field, whose response has been promising with over 100% of achievement against the budget. The increase in sales of the health product also de-risks us from over-dependency on any one product line. Currently, all exports are from Poultry Healthcare Division. The export sales have been impacted due to the current geopolitical situation in the African countries where we have our focus. Registration delays have added to this degrowth as forecasts have not been met. Speaking of the Pet Care Division, which has now been functional in the front-end operations since the last 4 quarters, that is 1 full year now. In Q1, we made a sales of 80 lakhs. And if I talk about July 2022 to June 2023 operations, since we started our operations in July last year, we have crossed 2.5 crores of sales. The products introduced have been well accepted, appreciated, and we are looking to introducing more specialized products in this portfolio. Apart from the 3 divisions, the company exported other pharmaceutical products, making a sale of INR 27 crores. With regards to the profitability for the quarter, the overall gross profit has reduced by 7% due to a change in the product mix. EBITDA has increased by 24%, coming from an increase in the overall sales. Now, talking about the way forward, the Government of India has commenced the immunization program against the PPR. Hester has won the tender, and the total supply of PPR would be 30 crore doses by October 2024 in a phased manner. Based on the advisory issued by the Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying, the yearly immunization against LSD has also begun to avoid any severe outbreak like last year. With this, we shall be supplying the goatpox vaccine for this program, along with carrying awareness programs of this to promote immunization and also support the overall cattle health by supplementing the vaccination using some of our health products. The above 2 programs will further boost our vaccine sales in the animal healthcare division. Moving forward in the animal healthcare division, we aim to grow it further and focus on introducing more vaccines as well as health products. Talking a little bit about the R&D activities, we are in process of developing 4 types of vaccines. The next generation Brucella vaccine is one of the vaccines under development. More details of the R&D vaccine would be shared at a later date. On another note, there is a recent regulatory update wherein the Government of India has banned the use of a specific API called ketoprofen for animal use. 2 of our brands at Hester called Curex and Ice Moet contain this particular API. We are now in process of redesigning the product constitution, keeping the brand on. The newer versions of these products will be also out in a couple of months. On the capacity expansion initiative, the construction of the bulk antigen, which is the drug substance, as well as fill finish, which is the drug product facilities, has been completed. The drug product facility is preparing for an inspection for the approval, which is already done in case of the drug substance facility. Both these facilities together will double our overall vaccine manufacturing capacity. The BSL-C laboratory that was constructed with the help of Department of Biotechnology and BIRAC under the Mission COVID Suraksha program in collaboration with Gujarat Biotechnology Research Center to produce the drug substance for the COVID vaccine received a regulatory approval in Q4 23. However, with COVID vaccines demand gone down completely, we are now in process of working on other vaccines which require to be produced in biosafety level C, which can be produced here in the future. Discussions are on with BIRAC to repurpose our facility. Internal deliberations are on towards looking at other vaccine opportunities either for human or veterinary. Now about our subsidiaries. Hester Nepal did a turnover of 6.5 crores, primarily driven by exports. We are now hopeful on receiving the tender orders from FAO as well as country-specific orders in the coming quarters. We are now seeing a stability in the operations in the Nepal plant, mainly due to the export orders picking up, plus the local poultry vaccine demands being met by producing them there. Hester Africa has registered a sales of INR 1.7 crore, mainly through the CBPP vaccine. As mentioned earlier, Hester Africa has got licenses to produce PPR, CBPP and LSD for ruminants and ND and IBD vaccines for poultry. And in the coming quarters, we shall start supplying these vaccines that I just mentioned. To end, I would like to say to achieve a greater height, one has to redefine many things which gives an impression of going down a little bit, but that is to consolidate and have a subsequent huge sustainable rise. At Hester, a lot of changes have been initiated towards ensuring Hester reaches 500 crores in the coming 2 to 3 years. The current redefining is also further strengthening our foundation for a strong future, being true to our company's vision statement, which is building the future on the foundation of excellence. Thank you all for keeping faith and trust in Hester, its management. All I can say is that we will beat all expectations in the long run. Thank you for hearing me out, and I shall be handing over the call to my father, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi.
Thank you, Priya, for your note on the functioning of the company. All that I would like to add to this is, while we are all working towards achieving greater sales, greater results, there are three key areas which we are very minutely looking at. One is the new BSL-3 laboratory, which was constructed for the COVID vaccine drug substance. We are now repurposing it for another vaccine, may it be human vaccine, may it be animal vaccine. Two, we are very strongly approaching FAO towards the tenders for PPR, which could help us at Hester, Nepal to achieve our long-term objectives. And third, in Hester, Africa and the African continent, where currently there is a little bit of a recessionary condition because of the geopolitical situation, but we are pushing hard and we are pushing fast and we are surely awaiting to see better results from there. So that completes our presentation on the functioning of the company. Over to you.
So shall we begin with the question and answer session?
Yes, please.
We will now begin with the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question, you may please press star and 1 on your touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Thank you. We take the first question from the line of Ankit Kanodia from Smart Services. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you so much for taking my question, and congratulations on good set of numbers. And thank you especially for the detailed notes which you have shared with the exchange. So my first question is related to the 300 million doses of PPR vaccine, which we mentioned in the press release that we'll complete it by October 2024. So in terms of rupees or in crores, how much of total value it will be, and how much we are expecting to book this year, and how much will be carry forward next year? Any ballpark number?
The total sale from this is Rajiv Gandhi here. The total sale from the PPR vaccine expected from this quarter up to the end of supplies, it would be approximately 35 crores. You can take 3 crores a month, give and take a little bit plus or minus.
Thank you so much, sir. So my next question is related to the mentioning of 2 drugs which were impacted, the sales of which were impacted because of the regulations. How much time it will take to work on that, and any ballpark number in terms of loss of revenue? We have mentioned about 50 million we made in FY23. For this year, if you think what would be the loss and how much time it will take to redefine the formulation and get it running?
At the moment, there is no loss as what we see, and it will take approximately 3 months' time for us to change the branding. These 3 months, whatever minor loss we might have to incur towards the sale of these products, but we are working on it fast to try to replace it. So maybe we might lose a sale of around 1 crore or something. I mean, this is a guesswork.
Okay. Sir, one last question related to Tanzania. We have been working on Tanzania since 2017, and I think last year we started the commercial production. So and I didn't find any detail on the press release which we have released. So if you can just share some more outlook as to how do you see this picking up over the next, say, 1 year, 2 years, qualitatively and also quantitatively if you can, that would really help us. Thank you. That was my last question.
So in Africa, we have already launched 6 products, and we are now looking at the sales from these 6 products. We have even started exports, first export being to Botswana. And the registration process, see, there are many issues which what we had perceived at that time as to what it is now. There are, 2 of them which I would like to highlight. One is the tendering or the requirement from all the countries through the government tenders. That has at the moment taken a little bit of a hit because of the economical crisis going around, dollar funds available to the countries rather not available, etc. Those things. And secondly, Africa is going through a transition in the regulatory registration regime. That also has been going a little bit slow. So these are the 2 hurdles. If your next question was to quantify, it's very difficult for me or for us to give a quantification on this because technically all this should have happened and we should have been sailing by now. Think that it has not happened. Give us around 6 to 8 months time. I think so things should be back on track. A country cannot survive without vaccinating their animals. Now that they know that there are vaccines available which weren't available earlier, even the private sector, which at one time was not there at all. In fact, now we get inquiries from private distributors, from poultry farmers, from cattle owners, small. So it is evolving market and we are working on it. It would be inappropriate for me to give an exact quantification of sales.
Thank you, sir. That was really helpful. Just one follow-up. Is it right to assume then that if it is so difficult to start the production and make it running over here in Africa, since we have spent a lot of time and effort and also some money, and actually a lot of money, we would be in an advantageous position once this pick up because probably we'll be having there will be less competitive intensity over there because of the condition around us in Africa.
Yes, it would be absolutely right. 1, there is no competition. 2, we are the biggest animal vaccine plant in the continent of Africa, the biggest pharmaceutical investor in the country of Tanzania. Of course, being big does not make us get business automatically, but the opportunities are there. Therefore, we have done this. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation also saw this as an opportunity to ensure that animals are in good health by proper immunization programs. Everything had been based on certain presumptions. Those presumptions have to fall right. It is just that the delay of those things falling right. There is nothing else. There is no fear. There is no apprehension. Neither is there a regret.
Thank you so much, sir, and all the best for the rest of the year and future.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We take the next question from the line of Mr. Yogansh from Mittal Analytics. Please go ahead, sir.
Hi, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. A couple of questions. To one of the line items that we have mentioned in this quarter's sales is pharma products of around 26 crores. So, sir, is it fair to assume that this is more of a trading business and might not be repeatable in coming quarters? And probably this is the one which has dragged down our gross margins as well?
You have understood it absolutely right. Therefore, we have not even included in the animal healthcare and the poultry healthcare. For sheer transparency, we have shown it separately. This is an order which, yes, we have no commitment for any future such orders. We believe it will happen, but on documentation basis, this could be taken as a one of its kind. Therefore, we have shown it separately. And these products and being such a quantity, it had to be sold at competitive prices, and that definitely has impacted our bottom line. In fact, if we minus that business and then look at our bottom line, it is much more healthier.
Got it, sir. Sir, secondly, I think last Concall you were mentioning about the government focus shifting from PPR to lumpy skin disease, because at that given time, lumpy skin disease was a bigger problem which had to be taken care of. While now in today's opening remarks you mentioned that PPR and LSD both are being taken up by the government. So currently, as we stand today, how is the situation in the Indian scenario? If you could talk a little more about it, sir.
Sorry, your question is what is the current situation in terms of immunization or our supply?
No, sir, immunization for both PPR and LSD. What kind of order inflows are we expecting going forward? Because last quarter, I think you shared that because of focus on LSD, PPR orders are getting delayed. But today, I think from what we see, we see some positivity around. So if you could talk a little more about it.
Last year, during the same period, we had a capacity constraint, and as we are building it and as our capacity is more or less increasing and it is, we are able to produce more, as well as now we are able to even plan. Last year, LSD came as a surprise. This year, we knew that LSD is going to be taken by the government. We knew PPR is going to be taken by the government. So we have planned everything, and we are in a position to honor the full demand of both PPR as well as Goatpox for LSD. We do not see any capacity constraint, any production constraint at all.
So the LSD, if we understand correctly, is a repeatable business. It's not something that it will come up once in a while, but now going forward, it would be something which becomes a part of a treatment.
Once in a year. Yeah, once in a year, immunization is required against LSD.
So, sir, for Indian context, how big is the LSD potential?
If you would have followed the government of India, our Honorable Finance Minister Miss Nirmala Sitharaman had tweeted that the government has vaccinated 9 crore cattle against, for the production of LSD, lumpy skin disease vaccine. So 9 crore doses of Goatpox vaccine were used in the last year's immunization campaign. So you can extrapolate it from that.
Understood, sir. So next, on the poultry side, we have been seeing a lot of pressure for last many quarters now, and I think last quarter also you were saying that this is the worst that you have seen and probably the worst that we expect. So now are we seeing any signs of improvements in Q2? Almost a month has already passed. So are there any green shoots of improvements on the poultry side, or do we still see some pain for next 1 or 2 quarters at least?
No, our trade business in poultry has already taken a little bit of an upturn. It is lesser than what we would have expected, but nonetheless there is an upward trend, and we have reasons to believe that. I would have probably said that in the earlier quarters also, that now it will go up, But I think, how long or how much time can it just go on lower? In fact, if I just have the figures in front of me while I was talking, our CFO has just given the figures. There is an increase by vaccine sales by 8% and our health products 23% in the trade. So therefore, we definitely see that this is now going upward.
Wow, that's good to and very reassuring to hear, sir. Sir, last question, and then I'll join back with you. So on the BSL-3 facility that we want to repurpose and we are working for all of the approvals and all, so what is the kind of spend that we will have to do here to reshape this plant?
the spend would be nominal. Depends upon what we choose to do. It will be a nominal spend. It can't be just more than a couple of crores or something. I mean, we have we have the full thing. Everything is ready, absolutely ready. When I'm saying a couple of crores, something or the other is always going to be different from vaccine A to vaccine B to vaccine C. So I'm making a presumption. It could happen that we might not even spend 50 lakh rupees for all you know.
Oh, okay. Understood. Sir, sorry.
Our objective is to utilize this infrastructure the way it is for another vaccine. We are not looking at any other product wherein again we have to put any capital capex in the whole thing.
Makes sense. So just one question I skipped. So in the opening remarks, ma'am mentioned that we are working on 4 new vaccines of next generation. So if you could just talk a little more about it, what kind of vaccines these are, and again, are these all 4 in the animal segment, or is there something in poultry segment as well? And again, the markets, are these for Indian markets or the export markets?
So if you would have followed our last press notes as well as our calls, we have already said that we are, and even in this note we have mentioned that we are working on the next generation brucella vaccine. We have acquired technology from IVRI, classical swine fever, sheeppox. We are also bought technology for the lumpy skin disease vaccine. We are talking to Indian Veterinary Research Institute to develop a PPR and goatpox combined vaccine. We have taken the technology for the avian influenza vaccine in poultry. So these are a few projects which have already been declared and already we are working on it. And apart from that, there are 2 projects which we would want, 2 or 3 which we will mention at an appropriate time rather than talk about it today.
Fair enough, sir. Thank you, sir. I'll get back in the queue and just.
Thank you. Before we take the next question, a reminder to all the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touchtone telephone. We take the next question from the line of Keshav Garg from Counter Select PMS. Please go ahead, sir.
Sir, I'm trying to understand our other segment. Sir, most of our profits have come from there in this quarter. So it's mentioned that we are selling some pharma products. So is this a recurring business or is this a one-time business?
As already mentioned, there are chances that it would continue to reoccur, but as we yet do not have the trend, we have put it in others. So for all practical purposes, let's presume that this is a one-time thing.
Sure, sir. Sir, and also, sir, if you could quantify that the lumpy skin disease 5 to 6 crore doses over the next 3 quarters, what revenue it will translate into? And similarly, for the 30 crore doses of PPR vaccine by October 24, what revenue should that translate into?
PPR vaccine as well as the goatpox vaccine, both are tendered and it is public information as far as the prices are concerned. The lumpy skin disease immunization is done via the goatpox vaccine, where the tendered price is 5 rupees, and in PPR the tendered price is a little less than 1 rupee 50 paisa per dose. 30 crore doses translates to 45 crores. 5 to 8 lakh doses of lumpy skin translate to anything between 30 to 45 crores.
Sure, sir. And sir, what kind of operating margins should we expect on this?
I think that's too much of a little in-depth question. It's very difficult to talk on the phone on vaccine to vaccine on operating costs and specific margins, etc. they are well in line with our normal profitability, not that they have been, it's something which is going to erode our profitability.
And sir, lastly, sir, what is the capex that is remaining to be incurred on all the projects on a consolidated basis?
I think let our CFO answer.
So on the existing projects, we don't expect significant expenditure yet to be incurred. Majority portion has already been done, and we are just into the regulatory approval process going on right now for those.
Unless we come up with some new project which might need any more finances, we are well covered for the moment for the current project.
And sir, the 4 new vaccines that you mentioned that are under development, so our COVID facility, which now we are repurposing for animal and human vaccines, so those 4 new vaccines can be basically mass produced in that COVID facility?
Those vaccines have nothing to do with the BSL. I think now we no more call it the COVID vaccine facility. We call it the BSL-3 facility. Those vaccines have nothing to do with the BSL-3 facility. All would be produced in our current production areas, would be tested in the current quality control area. And so that is part of the ongoing business and part of the already created infrastructure.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much and best of luck.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Yes, sir. Before we take the next question, a reminder to all the participants, if you wish to ask a question, you may press star and 1 on your touchtone telephone. We take the next question from the line of Rehan from Sycamore Advisors. Please go ahead, sir.
Hi, good afternoon. So my question is related to the segment's results. The consolidated segment results for animal and poultry seem to have come off a little in terms of margin, where poultry and animal margins are at about 8% compared to, higher in previous quarters. So I just wanted to understand what has happened there and what is the way forward in this aspect.
Just a minute, I'll have our CFO answer.
So, in case of animal healthcare division, our margins have been improved. That's primarily with the increase in the vaccine sales of GPV and PPR during the quarter. So that gives us the better margin percentages in this segment. And poultry healthcare, there has been a reduction. Primarily, there was a negative or the reduction in the vaccine sales during this quarter on an overall basis. But with that, we had an increase in the health product sales. So that explains the movement in the margins.
I would like to add to it, vaccines are more profitable than health products as far as product range is concerned. So that's where we are.
Okay, sir. And how do we see this mix going forward, say for poultry? Do we see vaccines increasing as a percentage?
Our vaccine business will increase from the current level to a higher percentage. But for any company to become big, to touch 500, 800, 1,000 crores, ultimately it will have to sell more of health products because that is the bigger market than the vaccine market in terms of rupee value.
Got it, sir. Okay. Just my last question with regards to expenses. We saw a rise in employee and other expenses on a consolidated level. So how do we see these going forward? Are these the normalized levels now?
We have added more people and we have now to see the performance of these people and get to results from them. At the moment, we have reached a level where we would not be hiring more people on the marketing side. I think we have reached an optimal level that we would want over here, and we would take it further. In Africa, once the sales start showing a little bit, we will definitely employ more people over there, and we would like to take and push the sales over there.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much.
One more thing I would like to tell you with regards to your last question. I mentioned that animal health products sales are always higher in the big companies than that of a vaccine sales, but at the same time, the return on investment is higher in the animal health product because the asset to turnover ratio is much more on the nicer side on the animal health product.
Got it. Thank you so much.
We should not presume that once we start focusing on animal health, our profitability will continuously be going down. As we consolidate, that business will be addressed higher, the same turnover at a lesser investment. So in a way, that would balance off.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll take the next question from the line of Viraj Mahadevia, individual investor. Please go ahead, sir.
Hi, Rajiv Bhai. Hope you're well. Quick question. The whole point of this Africa expansion with the backing of the Bill Gates Foundation was that funding would be readily available to purchase these vaccines. Unlike the FAO where, it's been false starts, lots of promises, but nothing has taken off. So why isn't Africa moving ahead? If funding is available, the facilities are ready, the capability is there, where is the car stuck?
No, I think, Viraj, we would have spoken many times in the past, of course, even one-to-one and on the phone. The funding that we got was for creating the asset. The Gates Foundation indirectly works in all the countries to push towards creating demand for this. There is no directly, you take $2 and buy this vaccine. No, it is their indirect way of working in the countries and then trying to create the demand. But they definitely have a confidence that there is high demand and there will be high demand because that is the reason for which they have funded us.
Understood, Rajiv Bhai, but I thought, isn't there an offtake and agreement on pricing also by the Gates Foundation?
No, I remember, Viraj, you and me even speaking on this issue. There is no commitment given on, they are not underwriting any sales.
Right. Okay. Understood. So it's a market creation game which will take its time.
Absolutely, it will take its time, but at the same time, I don't mean that, we are looking at an evolution of the next generation or something of that sort. It is a process that is happening. All this would have happened much more faster had COVID not been there. It would have happened much more faster if the current political situation, the dollar strengthening, the countries not having dollars. So all these variables were put to work, and therefore this current situation, we are waiting to come out of it. We will come out of it and things will happen and things will go on. To a simple thing, Botswana, they have even ordered vaccines for there. I mean, there are so many these products we have shown in other sales. That has also happened. So there is movement. It's not that there is no movement.
Understood. And last question, Rajiv Bhai, the Africa sales are denominated in US dollars because these currencies have faced huge devaluation. And are you selling in USD or INR or something that protects you on the currency front?
Point number one, from Tanzania, we invoice in US dollars and we have a dollar account over there.
Right.
In local Tanzania, we sell in the local currency. And now India and Tanzania have gotten into a rupee trade agreement. So anything that we sell from here, we could even sell it in rupees to Tanzania.
That's probably the best, right, Rajiv Bhai, because it protects you for the currency fluctuation.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely good. Accumulating rupees is definitely the order of the day, and the way the world is moving, the way India is placed, I think ultimately you and me will even talk on spending rupees in the US.
True. So when you sell to other African countries, how do you sell? In what currency?
Dollar.
Outside, it's all USD. Okay. So as long as you're between
there
USD and INR, you're fine.
USD and INR and locally Tanzanian shillings.
Understood. And any update from our FAO friends? I mean, now it's almost like calling out wolf, and no one believes it anymore. This has been going on for 5 years.
Yeah, you mentioned FAO friends. They continue to be our very, very close friends. But the tendering business is yet to pick up.
Right.
And Nepal, but yes, Priya is just prompting me. We have already done a business of around 6 crores from Nepal. So there has been a little bit of a pickup.
But are they funded? Or is it still a challenge of getting funding at their end and consequently not placing orders?
They are facing probably challenges for funding. Not that they have told me, not that FAO has mentioned anything, but what we read in the papers, what the current situation is, it's simple logic that today every country is really just trying to keep their nose above water. So naturally, such funding and all always takes a little bit of a backseat.
True. All the best. I hope the years ahead are better.
Oh, thank you very much. You have always been a good well-wisher.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question for the day. I would now like to hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
On behalf of Hester Biosciences, I, Rajiv Gandhi, thank all of you for patiently hearing us out. And all that I can say is that we are working hard. Keep the faith in us as what you have always kept. Not that there is any decrease in faith as what we see. There is a lot of faith, and keep up that faith, and we will keep working hard, and we will work hard for the company to prosper more and commit to even contribute to our nation's growth plans. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of ICICI Securities, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.